Hello and welcome back, everyone. My name is Alyssa, and today we are going to be talking about 6 books that I hope to have read by the end of the year. I chose 6 books because we are in June. We're in the 6th month of the year, if nobody else has noticed, because I sure have. I have noticed. And so I was like, you know what? Let's pick out 6 books to put as a goal to have read by the end of the year, because we like goals, and I don't have to read them it's 6 books. It's 1 book per, starting in July, so right, July, August, September, October, November, December. So yeah, starting in July I can pick one of these books, and I can read it, and then it can be done, all that good stuff. Amongst all the other things that I'm in the middle of reading and exploring and whatnot. But these are 6 books from my personal shelves that I have bought with the intention to read, like we do all the time. We always buy books with the intention to read them, don't we? But these are ones where it's been, it's been a while, and these should be read already. And there's I don't know if there's reasons why, but we got to get to it. So let's just get into these books that I am hoping to have read by the end of the year. It's just 6 simple books. We're going to see if I can actually hold myself accountable for that. So, first one on this list is God of Broken Things by Cameron Johnston. This is book 2. I loved the first book, The Traitor God. I really fell in love with it. I loved the characters, especially the main character. I loved him so much. He's just I don't want to do this, but I have to do this kind of guy. And, everything that could possibly go wrong goes wrong, those kind of situations. But also, the first book had this really, amazing side character of this woman who was just, the perfect definition of, a badass woman. She was so cool. But it's been a couple years since I read the first book, so I might actually give that first book a reread and then read this one, just so that I can go into it all fresh and everything. And since I know I loved the first book, I won't have any issues, with rereading it and everything. And so this one, though, I bought it when it came out with the intentions of reading it then. And clearly that didn't happen. So that's where we're starting, all right, where there's a possibility of a reread needed. Then we have Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. At this point in time, this is the only book by Miss Madeline that I have not read. I love Circe. It is my favorite book by her. I love Galatea. Absolutely stunning little book. Her newest one isn't out yet, so that doesn't count. Okay, doesn't count because it's not out yet. Okay, but it's a short story. All right, but Song of Achilles, this is the one that we all know this book. Everybody knows about this book. The thing that's kept me from reading this book is so many people who have read this one and then who have read Circe. It's this back and forth thing where it's if you loved Circe, you're not going to like Song of Achilles. If you love Song of Achilles, you're not going to like Circe. And since I love Circe, I'm so worried that I'm not going to like this. But I think in the grand scheme of it all, I think what'll end up happening is I won't love this as much as I love Circe, but I still think I will enjoy it, because at this point, I will read anything that Miller puts out. I really will. She's apparently there's been some slight rumors that she's supposed to be doing a Hades and Persephone thing. I don't care for that couple, but I'll read it if Madeline writes it. Okay, simple as that. Moving on, the next one I picked is The Fury of Gods by John Gwynne. This is the 3rd book in the Bloodsworn saga, and I loved books 1 and 2. Okay, Orca, that's my girl. All right. Again, another beautiful definition of what I consider a badass woman to be, okay? And I need to finish their story. I need to finish it. I was supposed to have read this last year, but everything in my life fell apart last year. So that obviously did not happen. But now that things are more stable in my life, minus my depression popping up every now and then, but since things are more stable, I think there's a higher chance that I can finally get around to this. And then since they just announced like a new series by him and everything, which I already have on pre-order, thank you very much, I do want to finish this. Now, mind you, I still haven't read The Faithful and the Fallen and then the follow-up series to that one, but your girl does own them, okay? But I do want to finish this series. It's been long enough, but like I said, like I want to finish out Orca's story. Like I want to know where it ends, what happens, and I really want that to be this year. Then we have Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte. So this is one of those ones where for the longest time I had zero interest in wanting to pick this one up because it was just like, it was a classic and like everyone always talked about it, like with like the romance aspect and everything, and just a lot of like, I would say more skewed information about this book. I mean, it is classic, but when I started getting into like the gothic genre and reading more of those, this is one that obviously like just kept popping up over and over and over again, you know, with everyone saying like it's the start of the gothic, and if you're reading gothic and you haven't read this, like what are you doing, you know? It's one of those kind of things. And I finally decided to properly research the book and, you know, found out that it's not as much of a romance as like some people like try to make it out to be, that it's much more than that. And so I decided, you know what, let's go ahead, let's give it a try, you know, why not? And I bought this edition I think late last year because I fell in love with the cover art, because like honestly this is gorgeous, okay? And so it was a book that I had wanted to read last year that I did not get around to because again my life fell apart. So hopefully this will be the year. I'm definitely hoping that I can get this read by the end of the year because that would be really nice. This next one is kind of it's kind of funny. It's what I think is kind of funny. But we have Electra by Jennifer Saint. This is a last chance for this author. This is her last and final chance. I read two of her other books, Ariadne, and I cannot remember the name of the other one. I'll like put it down in the bottom of the screen or whatever because I just cannot remember what it's called, because I know she's got Hera, which I don't own, and then she just released His Immortal Heart or Her Immortal Heart, which is a Aphrodite retelling. But there's another one in there. There's another one, and I just cannot remember what it is, but I've read it, and I didn't like that one either. It's about the girl with the bow. Oh my gosh, what is her name? I cannot remember what her name is, but she's the girl with the bow who was raised by the bears. Yeah, her. And anyways, I did not like either one of those books. Did not like them at all. I don't like Saint's idea of what she thinks a feminist retelling is. I think a lot of times the girls get buried into the story behind the male character who appears in their story still. I don't really think she does like a lot of justice to bringing the girls to the forefront. And so this is the last one that I own by her because I have sold off the other two that I had. And after I had read that second one, which the name is still escaping me, which is kind of driving me crazy, but when she released Hera, my friend was like, do not buy that book. You are 2 of 3 right now that you don't like from her. Don't invest your money a 4th time. And I was like, yes ma'am, yes ma'am, I understand. And so I did not. So this is like her last chance. And then honestly, even if I do end up liking this, I think I'm just gonna like maybe get another one from the library, honestly, but I don't have high hopes. Like, I'm gonna be so real with you guys. I don't have high hopes. And it's like one of those things where it's like when I look at it on my shelf, I'm just like, why are you still here? Like that's genuinely how I think when I look at this book. I just look at it and I just go, why are you still here? I didn't like your siblings. Why would I like you? So that's why I find it kind of funny, because to me, I'm like, that's your last chance. That's your last chance that you get to try and to impress me. And we'll see. And then the last book on this list, and this is a book that I'm 100% certain that I'm just going to love this, but we have Bringer of Dust by J.M. Miro. This is the second book in, what is this series called? The Talents Trilogy. It's right there on the front. But the Talents Trilogy, I absolutely loved book one. I loved it so much. And this is another one that I had wanted to read last year, but because of everything going on, I said, you know what? I want to enjoy this book. I want to enjoy this book. And I can't enjoy this book with all the stuff going on in my life. So I put it off. But again, life is stable now. And so this is what I really, this is like, out of all of these ones that I just showed you guys, this is honestly the one that if I only read one of them by the end of this year, I want it to be this one, because I just know I'm gonna love this. I loved the characters, the setting, this everything. Oh, I loved it so much. And I want to go back to this world. I want to go back to these kids. I want to know what's happening. You know, there's a certain lady, I got to know if like my theory is correct, because I've got theories about this, okay? I've got theories. And I have looked up no reviews for this book. I've looked up absolutely nothing for this book, because I don't want to be spoiled by it, because that's how, like, invested in this that I am, that I don't want anybody to spoil it for me. And so I'm really hoping that this will be the one. And so those are the 6 books that I have picked to hopefully have read by the end of this year. They will probably end up back here on this mess. Leave me alone, okay? I have too many books and not enough shelves and not enough house space, okay? So I'm trying to make things work. So things is a little chaotic around here. I think if I spread any more books around this house, my daughter's gonna probably murder me in my sleep. You know, I don't know, maybe. She might do that if I just keep bringing more into this house. But yeah, those are the books I picked. If you guys have read any of these, I would love to hear your thoughts, but do not spoil anything, unless of course it's this one. If you've read this one, keep your thoughts to yourself. Don't tell me anything, okay? Don't tell me anything. Do not ruin my day, all right? But everything else, if you have words or thoughts on any of the other books on this list, you're more than welcome to let me know about those. But again, not this one. Not this one. So until next time, bye.